So, hello students. Welcome to our week where we're talking about our immune system. Obviously, this is very important because right now we're in the middle of the coronavirus pandemic. And right now, as we talk about our immune system, we're actually going to learn more about how our body protects us from viruses like the coronavirus. Before we do that, I just wanted to give you guys some quick facts about the coronavirus. And so I'm going to share a screen that I have that shows the current state as of today of the coronavirus. So I'm going to show you guys some of the actual stats from this website. This website updates every day. I could have also used the CDC website, but they're not quite as good at updating over the weekends. So I apologize for the ads and other random things, but this is a really good website to let us know what's been going on. And for you guys, you just got back from spring break, so you might not be fully informed of everything that's going on. So currently there's over 700,000 cases of coronavirus in the world. We'll go country by country breakdown later. There's been 35,000 deaths from that. So depending on your perspective, that could seem like a lot or not a lot, depending on what you've been listening to or what you're thinking about. The concern is that would grow a lot more if we continue to see the growth that's happening, because if we look at what's been going on in the past month, so again, today is Monday, March 30th. If we look at what's happened in March, we've gone from under 100,000 cases to over 700,000 cases. Over 700,000 cases. So that's pretty scary growth in a month. And so that's a lot of the concern, is that we're seeing an exponential growth, and there's still a lot of people could get infected. And coronavirus doesn't discriminate. It's been infecting people in every continent. It's a global pandemic. So we're all in this together. So we all have to fight this together. Also, the deaths have been growing a lot in the last month. And so we really have to be aware of that. In fact, it's been a lot worse in some of the countries that it's reached than it ever was in China. So that's a big concern. So let's look at some of the country by country breakdown. So since we last were together, actually US now has the most cases of coronavirus as more than any country in the world. And a lot of that has grown, particularly in New York, which we'll talk about. Italy has the second most cases, and Italy by far has the most deaths. We'll talk about why that is, but I want you to start to think about what factors relate to a body's ability to fight off a new virus or any virus. The cold is a virus. All of these things are different viruses that we encounter every day. So why are some people able to fight it off better than others? Obviously, there's a lot of factors. There's a lot of complex factors like healthcare and other things. But for this class, we're going to be focusing on why are some people able to fight it off, some people are not. What does it have to do with the body's response? So US has the most, Italy has the second most, Spain has the third most, and China is now the fourth most, even though that was the first case that we know of where people had coronavirus was in China. Now it's all the way down to number 4 in terms of total cases. And what's been really driving the growth, if we go back to this exponential growth of cases and death, is really what's been going on in Italy, the US, and throughout Europe. So we see it started in China, and it spread to South Korea and Japan, but the growth has all been in Europe and in the US and a little bit in other places, but almost completely in Europe and the US. If you look at where most of the cases are, we see Italy, we see Spain, we see the US, Germany, Iran, France, Ukraine, Switzerland, Belgium, Netherlands, Austria, Turkey. All of these countries in the top 10, with the exception of Iran, China, are countries in Europe, are countries where we're seeing the most growth. We see the most new cases in these European countries at this point in time. Yeah, and so that's why we're seeing such exponential growth. Is these countries aren't able to contain it right now. When we talk about the US specifically, because that's where we are, we see that there's a couple epicenters. So let's go to US by state, and I might need to change websites for that. Oh no, I can click here. Okay, so if we look at the US specifically, most of the growth has happened recently, and we can tell that because the recovered number is still very small. So a lot of people have been getting it even in the last couple of weeks. If we look back at the start of March, there was less than 1,000 people who had it. Now there's 145,000 people. And that's why we closed our school. That's why we're having to meet like this. That's why we're doing things differently, is to keep you guys safe and to keep your families safe. But most of the growth, as you might have heard in the news, is definitely happening in the New York City, greater New York City area. New York is number one. New Jersey is now number two, even though they have much less of a population than California. Just the fact that it's so close to New York, I mean, it's really been the epicenter of growth in the world right now. Okay, so let's go back to talking about your immune system and viruses and how this might be related. So again, I wanted to get you guys the facts of what's going on right now. Yes, New York is becoming a new epicenter of growth. It's one that has some of the most cases in the world. But let's talk about how your body is designed to fight that, and why different people's bodies respond differently. So I'm going to quickly go to the whiteboard. And so as we're talking about your body's ability to fight these things, the basic terms I want to tell you is we're talking about your immune system. And when we're talking about your immune system, we're talking not just about one organ or even white blood cells or some of the things that you heard before. We're talking about a whole system of organs and the way that your body as a whole responds to diseases. So we're talking not about one organ, not about just white blood cells, but a whole body's response. And so this raises a lot of interesting questions. Why is coronavirus, to be more specific, the COVID-19 novel coronavirus killing so many people when other coronaviruses haven't killed so many people? And just in general, what are the differences between one virus and another? How come some viruses affect animals? How come some affect plants? Each virus is very different. And so we need to understand what a virus is, and we need to understand how your body responds not just to viruses, but all infections, all things that try to keep it sick. And so that's really what we're going to talk about today. So I want you to spend the next 5 minutes, write down, try to start to think about these questions. Why is COVID-19 killing so many people when other coronaviruses have not killed so many people? Why more people in some countries? What is the main difference between one virus and another? So take a couple minutes to think about that right now, and we'll talk about it. Okay, welcome back from your thinking. Hopefully you had some good thoughts. I was talking to my students and they had some really excellent thoughts. So these are some of the answers, some of the knowledge that they brought to the table. They said white blood cells fight out diseases, they counter diseases. They talked about COVID-19 and some things they've been learning about in our previous discussions or from the news. And they heard that it's killing older people because they have weaker immune systems. And some viruses are stronger, more contagious. Um, and one thing that was really good that one student pointed out was that viruses can actually mutate. And that's something we're definitely going to talk about that. So this idea that viruses can mutate is pretty important. Yeah. We're going to talk about how that affects us. But yeah, all of these are some excellent answers. I'm not going to tell you the answers right now. I'm not going to just answer these questions because these are going to be topics that I want you to keep in your notes, keep in the back of your minds as we continue to learn about your immune systems, how your body responds with the whole body to viruses, infections, diseases, how your body responds using many different organs, many different things. It's not just one thing, but it's many things working together to fight off the things trying to kill your body, trying to cause you to be sick, trying to cause you to die. And so every day things are infecting your body, and there's way your body responds is a concerted effort to fight those things. We're going to talk about vitamins. We're going to talk about how each virus has different DNA and what that can tell us about the virus. We're going to talk about how viruses work. And then we're going to also talk about your body's response. So excellent. So I hope you join me for the rest of the week. I'm going to stop the recording now, but throughout the rest of the week, we're going to continue to talk about these things and answer some of these questions. But for now, the main takeaway for today is just your body has an immune system. What we mean when we say immune system, and I'm going to switch to the camera if I can. No, we'll just keep it here. Okay, so sorry about that. So the main takeaway for today is your body has an immune system. Your immune system is not one organ, it's not one thing like blood cells, but it's your whole body's response. It's how your body responds not just to viruses, but to infections, to cuts, to all the things that prevent your body from functioning normally. And it's a whole body response. We'll see that so many different organs play a role in your immune system. We're going to learn about all of those. We're going to also learn about in everyday life, in the complexities of everyday life, like when we get infected or when we have new viruses that cause disease like COVID-19 that's going on right now, how your bodies respond and how different bodies respond differently. How that can help us understand what's going on in the world around us. I look forward to sharing more with you guys about that.